you guys, we back and we better. So did you enjoy the last part? I hope you enjoyed the last part as we did the breakdown on the reason why a lot of people don't really see too much success when it comes down to creating as a creator when they set their goals. 9 times out of 10, they set the goal too high financially, that they structure it in a way that crushes them. Okay? So I hope that was understood. So now I'm willing to bet you're like, well, thank you for letting us know that, but what are we supposed to do about it? I'm glad you asked. Okay? So a lot of people, when they jump into this creative goal element, they really want to create a lifestyle that is easier. And a lot of these gurus kind of push that, hey, we're going to have the lifestyle and it's going to be, I have a multi-million-dollar lifestyle with the best home and the this and the that, and I go here and I do kitties and I did this and I did that, and everybody gets caught up in it and they're like, I want that, let me do that too, and da 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 da. But they got to understand that it comes with work. Anything you do, it comes with a level of work that in order to get it to flow right, you got to create the pipe work system so that the water can flow through it. But most people aren't really willing to do the plumbing part internally on themselves or externally to create the plumbing for the framework of what it is that they're trying to build so that it can flow correctly. Because everybody loves the word, I want something that's easy. I want something that flows. I want something that's passive income. I want that sleep money. I want that kind of money that I can just hop up and do a project or hop up and do something and then I ain't got to worry about that money. You got to get into the flow before you can even make those understandings. I'm about to burst some people's bubbles over here. I'm sorry, y'all, but I got to do it because, see, I'm noticing patterns here, and when I notice patterns, this is where teachable moments come from. So you ready to become teachable? You ready to become teachable? Because I'm going to explain something to you that you're probably not paying attention to when it comes down to a lot of these things that you're setting up to prepare to build. And I need you to be teachable. Are you going to be teachable? Okay, if you're going to be teachable, I need you to listen up. Because you saw the written out little doodle graph that I gave y'all in the previous video. Now I'm about to show you or explain to you what you got to do in order to get it. It's not going to sound nice. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. But in order for you to function in this level, you have to be doing something that others won't in order to get a result others won't get. You're creative. You're following a creative field that most will not follow, won't even go into, refuse to even make a decision to go in that direction because they afraid of the process to get the result. But I'm going to need y'all to be some big little people. And I'm going to need you to come in here. And I'm going to need you to get that internal work done so that you can figure out that next phase. Okay? And a lot of this is going to do with that internal, what goes on internally, so that you can reflect outward that passive income you want to see. You know that yeah. Okay, you want that? All right, let's go. Money is a current. A current flows. A current flows in and out. A current flows back and forth. Okay? Now, let's hear you. You are a person that just stepped in the water. You're not moving. And if you choose not to move, you're going to stay in a place that isn't going to move. Therefore, the water around you is going to stay still. You have to create the current for it to move, or the water is going to do what? Stay stagnant and still. When it becomes stagnant, guess what? It starts to stink. Mmm. Mmm. Passive income is a current that's flowing, even if it's a ripple, even if it's a mild. You ever see that calm lake water that just flows? That's what passive income. It's that calm water that just flows. It's not a rushing river. It's not an ocean wave. It's just staying with a steady current, and it moves. You can see the water rippling. It stays consistently moving. You don't. It's not like glass flat. It's moving. That's what you want. You want that passive income. It's just moving. All right. So now that we understand that, you have to have the understanding that most people start moving, and either they make a decision that when they're going to start moving, that they're going to do about 15 things. Now, what I try to help y'all do is I just want you to identify the 15 things that you're good at. Next to that, you need to group those things in associated categories, okay? Then you're going to cut them down to the alignment of its associated categories, which could turn out to be like 4 categories apiece. And some it might be 3. If it's less, kudos to you. 2 is good too. Go right ahead. But once you get down to that means you just niched down. I need you to clap for yourself because you just niched down. And when you went from 15 to 4 categories to 3 categories to 2, guess what? You just found out your level 1, your subcategories, and your secondary subcategories. Pat yourself on the back. You now know what your alignment is. Good for you. Problem. Most people take that entire 15 and like, I want to go and tap on all 15 and everything, and I'm going to just hit on everything, and this is going to be everything. And people are like, what? I heard a mentor many years ago tell me, you're just going to throw spaghetti at the wall and see what works. That's what you pretty much doing. You throwing everything at it. You just doing everything, and it has no sequence. You don't know what you're doing. Because you don't know what it is that you're doing just yet. So you going in 15 different, you know what, 15 different directions. You ever see them cartoons where you have that one center thing and then it's going off into 8, 9, 10, 15 different directions? You can't go that many different directions and be sustained. You can't even go in that many different directions and understand which each direction is going in. I'm sorry to tell you, it don't work. You will be a jack of all trades and a master of none. And then you'll be sitting there spinning your reels. Remember the man on the hamster wheel? Oh, okay. You just starting. What have I told y'all? You are running a marathon. This is no sprint. What is a marathon? Y'all don't go and sign up for the marathon when you don't sign up for it the day before the marathon and think you're going to take off running. Woo! Your body ain't even ready for that. You physically are not ready to take off running. I need you I need you to think of business like, I need you to think of creating like this. I need you to. For my grown folks over here, I'm going to need you to start thinking of it like this, okay? Because it has to be understood that you have to be able to identify, and it's going to help you. You have something that's new, unique, absolutely. But you need to find the cohesive point of center. Yes, you are the center of that, but you don't need to build your business on you. Sorry, don't do it. You will collapse. We already expressed this in the previous video. Nope, 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 nope. You need to express it on what is your core value of what it is that you're talking about. What you're talking about. When you get those 15 and you break them down to 4 and 3 and 2 categories, what's the central point that connects them things together? What's that meeting? I need you to do a diagram. I need you to find the center point. I need you to write in that center point. Once you've gotten everything in a nice, good sequential order, what is that center thing that brings all the other things together? Is it media? Is it entertainment? Is it music? Is it self-empowerment? Is it self-development? What is it? What's that center? What's that zone of genius? Is it web design? Is it podcasting? Is it entertainment? Is it what you call it? Being like a personal assistant of some sort? What is it? What's for you? How do you tie those things together that you are all the creative endeavors? And what's that title that entitles all? Search that. And you will now know what your zone of genius is, and you can now, even if you want to go introduce yourself to somebody, you can now say, "Hi, I'm this person, and this is what I do." What's that thing? That's what you do. Now you gotta find a workable framework. A workable framework. Now, I'm going to tell you right now what most people do. Are you listening? Do you hear me? Is it making sense to you? Have you heard me? So, what's that workable framework? You have to know what your framework is and make it sustainable. You remember the previous video I showed you? It looked like an upside down pyramid and you the one at the bottom of it. You needed to build up with a wide foundation and build up. Are you building a house? Or are you building a pyramid? A house is built like a square, which means you need joists to link in a square formation. Okay? What are your corners? What's your strengths? What's bringing those corners together? What is it building up to, left, right, and sideways to? What's your depth? What's your width? Okay? I'm gonna need you to figure that out. Okay? Because it needs to be a solid structure. And that foundational stuff, that's what's necessary in order for this sucker to stand. What's your foundation? You, because let me tell you something. It's not going to operate without you, especially if you, are you the center of it? I'm going to tell you right now, in order for it to have a proper foundation, you should probably not center it on you because you're going to change. This is what I see happening. A lot of creators, they center it on them and then their audience is like, I like you where you are. And the second that your life changes, everybody want to be like, you changed. I'm a human being. That's what happens. Life happens. We change. If your life isn't changing on a daily basis, if it's not changing on a couple of yearly basis, you're stagnant. You ain't going nowhere. And I know some of y'all, you grew up with grandma and grandpa and auntie and uncle. They stayed in the same house for 15, 20, the entire life. They even took their house and they passed it on to their family. And they never moved. They never went. They didn't go nowhere. They didn't do. That's not you. It's not gonna be you. You're gonna evolve. You're gonna change. You're gonna go. You're gonna travel. You're gonna meet people. That's what we're doing out here. We're building lives that we want. We don't want to be that person that's stuck in the house, don't ever go nowhere. We out here trying to be independent, possibly remotely independent workers. But I'm gonna need you not to create another 9 to 5, okay? And 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna be a 9 to 5. It's probably gonna be like a 14-hour a day job, okay? Because guess what? Because you're not in an office that you can make it 9 to 5, you probably gonna be like at any point in the day hours. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth. When I do content and I do what I'm doing, a lot of people are like, oh my God, you do so much. Guess what? I do it whenever I can, throughout whatever point in the day. If it's 2 hours, it's 4 hours. If it's 10 hours, it's, come on. That's what creativity does. You just roll. You roll with the punch. You roll with it. Okay. I know how to function like that. Some people don't. Some people need that schedule. I'm just like, how much time we got? Okay, let's do. Even this video right now is, I got a time slot. Let's roll. Okay. So with that being said, do you have a plan? What is your plan? In order to have a proper structure, you need to structurize a plan. It's one thing that I'm good at and I'm fantastic at. It's planning. I know how to make the lists. I know how to make the structures, the outlines, the this. I learned outlines when I was like in 4th grade. I love me a good outline. Understand how to make the listed outline. Once you understand how to make the listed outline, this listed outline can become your business plan. You find your structures, your quadrants, your areas, what you working with, what area you working with, how you are organizing these quadrants so that they can be a what? 4 basis points that are your legs, that are your what have you for what it is that you're building, but you have to understand. The most important aspect of this is that you are not planning to build around you. Okay? Don't do it. Because when you build around you, you will change. Things will change. And life will be lifing. And you will be sitting there like, whoa, what and it will create a load for you of a level of work that you're going to be sitting there like, I'm getting crushed on it. Of course you are, because you built everything around you. But if it's a faceless brand or it's something that has an easy avatar that you have created, now some people say, don't create the avatar. Others say, do create the avatar. Figure out what that is. Figure out what works best for you. Do the research on whether you want to create an avatar or you just want it to be a faceless brand. Okay, because the branding avatar, you can use that avatar to grow the brand's logo throughout evolution, but you can have your life and do whatever you want to do with it, and then you can bring people in. Because see, I've seen people do misbranding and it looked individual created a branding mode where they were the face of the brand and they were working with somebody else. But guess what? They kept putting the other person in their content, and the person, it's misleading branding if it's the other person that you're dealing with. If it's a bunch of other reps that you're dealing with, at least there was one woman, she did one where it was always her with 2 or 3 other women behind her or 4 women behind her. So it gave that female empowerment aspect, and she would use the other coaches. But guess what? The thing about it is, and I see this with a lot of leaders, that what they'll do is they'll be the leader, but when they try to bring in other people, the weight of those other people isn't strong enough to carry anybody, and they the strongest person in their group. And because they're the strongest person in that group, everyone's attracted to them. So they really don't want to deal with anybody else. Because it was how they presented themselves, because they kind of indirectly made themselves the center, because even in the positioning advertisement, they were the center. So it still made people be like, I don't really want to hear nobody else. Plus the way that they spoke and the charismaticness of it, people wanted to only really deal with them. So it's like, you got to be cautious of how you want to build and direct people, because this is how you're building your brand. Think about it. You are pregnant with a purpose. And just like any pregnant woman, you have to understand that you're going to have ups and downs, lows and highs. Things are going to happen. You're not going to be functioning at the same capacity that you was when you were not pregnant. And you're going to have to get extra sleep. You ain't going to feel well certain days. And guess what? People really don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. You build a brand on you being the service that's the base of this thing. People going to be looking like, where you at? I'm not feeling well today. But you said we were supposed to have. I paid for this amount of time. This is why you have reps. But if you structure your business on you and not having a non-face to it, then everybody can do what they need to get done, as long as you're making sure that the customer client relations is built correctly. Okay? That's what's necessary. I don't care what bad brand you're building. Now, when you the face of whatever brand that is, I don't care if you're a celebrity or what have it, they still got a team behind them. 9 times, like, hey, you who's just starting, you don't have no team yet. Sorry, you don't have no team. You might have an AI assistant. That's about as close as your team, and you get you multiple different AI things, but don't rush your laurels on that. What happened if something happened with your ability to operate and technology start acting up? Something didn't go through right that particular day. You rested too hard. Your scheduled stuff didn't go out. You see how that works? And you still one individual. See how that works? So I'm gonna need you to set things up so that if life starts life and you have a structure, a repeatable structure that's set up in a way that's not so weighted on you. Why? Because you're setting up a business. You have to understand how much your minors, your upkeep, all that kind of stuff, the positive, the negative, you got to understand the balance, the timing, the value of that. What it's going to take, how many live streams you're going to have to do. I would suggest doing live streams if you can. But if you can't do live stream, record video content. You can batch that better than you can a live. You see how that works? You have to be able to align to hit what it is that you need to hit and properly structure those things. In having those proper structures and the alignment for the understanding of that, you make it easy for people to still feel like they can touch you, but you still got reps and representatives, okay? You still give them the feeling of being served, met, so on and so forth. But you also got to, like I said, you got to pull reps and stuff that you're going to pull in. They got to have a similar vibe to you, or else it's going to feel off. I don't really like even using the word vibe. It's like they got to have a similar focus. Y'all got to be in alignment that when you move together, it feels fluid. And if one is working and you not working, they still feel like, I'm feeling like my needs still being met here, even though that I'm not with that person. That's what you need. to create when you are building a brand. Don't make it all about you. Okay? You have to understand what your strengths and weaknesses are. This is why you take that first 90 days to figure out what it is that you like about what it is that you're creating and doing. Most people just jump right in, and it's like, you don't even know what you like about this, whether you like this. You run in there, you want to do courses, you want to do coaching calls and group coaching, because I want community. You have a problem where the fact of the matter truly is, subconsciously you want to feel needed and you want to feel surrounded by people. Some of you don't even have friends like that, so you want to build a community around you, so you're the center of attention. Some of you are dealing with ego issues. Oh, I wasn't supposed to touch on that part. Sorry. This is why you want to be the center of... No. What you need to do is you need to step back and you need to figure out who's your clientele, who's in alignment, what you can talk about. Can you talk about? How long can you talk about that thing? Don't be teaching something that you can't talk about for a long period of time. That if a week went by, you still got content to talk about. If in 120 hours that you still got more content that you can talk about, you can break it down. Because what else is you doing? Okay? It needs to be that wide. Why? Because they say you need 1,000 hours. Okay? Before you can become an expert on something. You need to at least be able to talk about it for 120. Even if you have to break it down. Sub content. Yeah. You need to be able to flow through that thing so that you can answer. And then the team that you bring on needs to be able to touch the points that you can't. Elaborate on what you've already said. You see what I'm saying? Understanding your strengths and your weaknesses so that you properly know how to grow outward. Then you need to be able to diversify and do so in a manageable way. How are you going to maintain that? Is it going to be through a newsletter? Is it going to be through other forms of content, short videos, podcasting, things that you can create multiple forms and pieces of content that can be repurposed and purposed again? Are you going to then take that content and do a breakdown on it? Are you taking a long form piece of content and breaking it from an hour and a half to 45 minutes to a 10-minute video to some short content to a dictated or a transcript post that can be converted about 15 times into as many blogs as you need to convert it into? You see where we going here? Oh, okay. Repurpose. And understand that once you've diversified properly and interjected into a properly aligned funnel, and I need you to listen to me careful. If you're going to create a properly aligned funnel, I need that funnel that you're creating to be a series of actions and activities that if you had to do it, it wasn't going to make you feel like you want to take your head off of your shoulders. Okay? If you want to do a long form sales letter, can you dictate that content? Would you feel good dictating that content? If you want to do a video, you have a problem with sitting in front of the camera for any length period of time? How you want to do a webinar if you can't sit in front of the camera for a long period of time? Are you going to do short content? If you like shorts more than you like talking to people, then I'm going to need you to go to this place called Video Desk, I believe it is. And they have the ability that you can do like video ask or something like that. Not vid desk, it's video ask. And that way you can answer questions shortly and quickly. Maybe you like audio. You don't want everybody seeing your face. Maybe you want to do audio messages in a community group. Am I making sense to you? Break it down. Lay it out. Go in. You know what I'm saying? So that you can hit the points that you need to hit and be able to expand, expound. Understand what you like, but make sure even that your funnel is written properly. And that one goes into the other that leads to your webinar or leads to your offer or leads to your course. How can you have course content if you can't even talk about the content or you don't know whether you like talking about the content? But energy in the content is going to make a difference if people want to sit and watch you for hours. I'll be like my energy. Okay. So, with that being said, these are all things, elements that are going to help you build wealth and build out that stuff. You got to enjoy doing that. If you don't enjoy making websites, then you know that you're going to have to make a lot of content, a lot of websites, a lot of this, that, and the other. I like websites to a degree. I wouldn't want to sit there and do them every single day, but I do them when I need to. And you need to know how to do it, even if you want to explain it to somebody else for them to do it for you. You understand what I'm saying? So that you can build out the funnel so that you understand how that whole process works. Is it making sense to you? Oh, I hope it was. So once you've come to that understanding, I'm going to need you to do a 30. Well, actually, no. I'm going to need you to do a 90-day plan. I'm going to need you to do a 6-month plan. I'm going to need you to do a 9-month plan and a 12-month plan. Oh my God, that sounds like so much. You're not doing each individually. It's all part of one 12-month plan, but you're dividing the year into quarters, okay? These are months. These are trimesters. These are sectors. These are quarters in a year, so that you know how to track your ability. But you're going to start with the lightest amount of work, and then you're going to get your actionable steps needed and necessary in order to be able to accomplish what it is that you need to do. You need to figure out what those steps are for what you're called to build. But I'm a bath and body person. I create lotions and stuff. Do you do a blog to sell those lotions? Do you get on social media? Do you come on and you explain and express in video content what it is that you do and why you do it? Do you go to conferences and relation? Oh, okay. We're trying to sell the product, are we not? Oh, okay. So whatever it is, you need to be consistent in working that out. You need to be consistent in expressing it so that people can see you, find you, and find what it is. And you are the thing that makes that thing unique, but you need to know how to structure it around you so that you can run your race properly. And we're going to get into that in the next one.